Hi, welcome back to the Tori Nook Talk Show, where real conversations meet real success. I'm Tori Nook. I'm the CEO and founder of Anchor Retail. I'm an entrepreneur, wife, and mom of three. And in each episode, I feature founders, entrepreneurs, wellness leaders, development voices who've built their whole careers and successful careers and their lives with intention, intuition, and a strong sense of who they are. We talk about the decisions that shape a life, the moments that test you, and the habits and mindset that keep you moving forward. And today, my guest is Gabe Einhorn. And for those of you who do not know Gabe, he is a startup founder and entrepreneur. He's based out of New York City, and he is a co-founder and CEO of VryfID. And I'll spell that capital V and then lowercase RY capital ID. But you say verified. And it's a platform where he's building a secure trust layer for real estate transactions by verifying their people's identity, their income, and documents, and they all go directly at the source to reduce fraud and streamline the whole entire real estate process. He's also the founder of Praise, Prays, a faith-driven apparel brand, and its media platform is focused on conversations about belief, discipline, purpose, featuring interviews with athletes, entrepreneurs, creators about their relationship with God. So, Gabe, I'm so happy to have you here, and welcome to the Tori Nook Talk Show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh my God. I have so much fun. Like you have like this amazing vibe for life. Like so young, you're so happy, you're always smiling. But it's fun to see how successful you are and how such a young age, you're just like this snowball that just like keeps going, getting like bigger. And you have so many fun videos with both the businesses that you're doing. But what I want to start with is just the basics. Like, where did you grow up? Did you go to college?
I'll run you through it. I'm from New Jersey originally, born and raised, and it's so funny because New Jersey's close to New York City, so everybody assumes, oh, of course, like when you move to New York City, like you're from here, and it's actually totally different. I mean, I grew up in the suburbs of New Jersey, so when I moved to New York City last year, it's
Hmm.
a totally different vibe, and
Yeah.
it's been incredible explaining to people like what it's like to just wake up every morning in New York City. You bump into people like Bob Knackle on the streets just walking around, like that's how crazy it is out here.
Yeah.
So I love it here. I'm building in New York City. I went to college at Yeshiva University. It's in New York City, upstate,
Okay.
not upstate, uptown, and I
Okay.
played soccer there. And I actually played soccer in a couple different countries. That was my passion before I started business. I still love
Hmm.
it, but of
Yeah.
course, had to end at some point. I played in Madrid, Argentina, and Mexico,
Fun.
and I stopped playing last year. So now I'm all in on business right now.
Awesome. And why don't you tell everyone how old you are? Do you mind?
I'm
Because I always,
24.
I know,
Yeah,
I know you're 24, but I just,
yeah, I'm 24. Yeah, age is just a number.
I just can't believe how much you've done and you're 24.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, you obviously I'm assuming started working 2 years ago, like right out of school.
So I started actually the best thing I did was I started while I was in school. So when
Okay.
I just turned 21 and I decided I wanted to work in real estate. So the best thing I did was I first downloaded LinkedIn and I reached out
Hmm.
to a bunch of real estate companies and said, "Hey, I'm 21, I'm in college. I want to
Okay.
work in real estate. Can I get a job?" And as you know, getting into brokerage is pretty low barrier to entry because
True.
it's a commission-based job. So if you have the
Yeah.
hunger and the grit for it, they'll take you. So I started, and thank God when I finished college, I already had over a year of experience, and it was the best thing that I could have done because then when I was ready to go full time, I was already, I hit the ground running.
Yeah. And now when did you start? So you obviously got I'm assuming a W-2 job,
Yeah.
right? Or were you 1099?
I was commissioned. I was a broker. I was
Yeah.
a finance broker. Yeah.
So you're pure 1099. How long did you do that until you started your own two companies, which we're going to dive into, Verified and Praise?
Yes. So I did it since 21, so I'm 24. So it was about 3 years. I worked for two different companies as a debt finance broker, so mortgage broker, doing deals across the country. It was my
Hmm.
first foot in the door in real estate, in networking, in brokerage. So,
Hmm.
really cool experience. Obviously, very humbling
Yeah.
and very hardworking.
Hmm.
I started my clothing brand last summer, just as
Okay.
like a passion project, something that I wanted to do on the side of real estate. And then this summer, we started VryfID with my brother in July time. So about 9 months ago now, 9 months ago.
Hmm.
And then I left my real estate job officially probably 3 months ago. So
Okay.
I've been
No, it
all
was
in.
recent.
Yeah, been all in the last
Okay.
3 months.
And you work with your brother. I mean, do you guys just work virtually? Do you have like an office? Like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, so we don't have an office yet. We got to get there. We got a long way to go. So I bounce around. I work at a couple different offices. I got a lot of people here in New York City that I'm became really close with, different people in the industries, utilize
Mhm.
different spaces, which has been very cool. And one of the coolest parts about networking, where it becomes more than just like a connection, but somebody that actually supports you, advises you, mentors you, and people that have been looking out for me,
Mhm.
just because they care about me, which has been very cool.
Right. And I find like so many very successful people are athletes. So, I mean, obviously you're not 50 and I'm interviewing you to
Yeah.
ask you like what shaped you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or what made you, but I am curious, like at such a young age, like what made you decide so soon, so fast that you, like, what season were you in when you decided I want to own my own business?
Yeah, I've always been entrepreneurial, and I really get it from my dad.
Okay.
He's been starting companies forever.
Oh,
They have a family business, which I got into when I was at a young age.
hmm.
They make furniture in New
Okay.
Jersey, so he got me involved with that at a young age. He's done restaurants, event spaces, retail
Mhm.
centers. So I mean, when you come to New Jersey, you could check out his retail center now.
Okay.
They have about 10 tenants there.
Mhm.
So he's been very entrepreneurial, and he's always pushed me to just get out there. I've seen his work ethic. He wakes up at 4 a.m. every morning, and just grinds. So I
Right.
see that, and the way that he conducts himself always motivated me. So when
Hmm.
I was 15, a freshman
Okay.
in high school, I started selling sneakers because I said,
Okay.
okay, I want to make my own money. So I started
Why not?
buying and selling sneakers. Started making
Hmm.
a couple thousand bucks on the side, which as a 15-year-old high school kid was like, okay, I'm rich. So I started doing that, and then I did that most of my high school life. And then
Hmm.
when COVID hit, I was a senior in high school, and
Hmm.
I decided the whole e-commerce trend was happening. So I
Hmm.
learned on my own how to do e-commerce, drop shipping, and I started my own company at 18, which was
Wow.
online drop shipping, just doing random products. So I always had an itch for just building my own company. And
Hmm.
actually, this summer around June time, I was getting kind of bored of brokerage, and I wanted to do something else. And when my brother came home and had the idea for the company, we were brainstorming ideas, and I was like, okay, like we have a problem here. We went through the rental process in New York City. There's a problem in New York City in general, and in real estate in general as an industry in regards to technology. There's so much room to grow with technology in real estate. So we're like, okay, we're gonna make something happen. Like we're gonna do it. We're gonna figure out a problem. We're gonna find a solution, and we're gonna do it. So that's kind of how it all played out.
How did you, so that's what I want to jump in next is building verified. I love it. I mean, it's almost shocking like people didn't think of this before to
Yeah,
do this. I mean,
yeah,
really.
yeah,
Because you're building around trust, verification, reducing, fraud, which unfortunately is rampant. No different than bank fraud, really. And the problem is it's just like kind of like employees. There's certain, I call them pro employees, like they know every bit of the law and what they could get away with by doing nothing. And that goes for renter world too, right? They know the system, they know the laws or how that jurisdiction is, and they could go live somewhere for like a year and that landlord's getting zero money, right? Because we know, I mean, any master manipulator, people can act like they have money, rent cars, rent planes like all day long, and you can't trust any of it. It's like a joke, right? Like walk someone through who buys your product.
yeah.
What's it doing for
Yeah,
them?
so initially we were focused on the renter, and we still are trying to help the renter, just giving them a
Hmm.
place to store and organize that sensitive information for the rental process instead of scrambling to find it and then just emailing it to random brokers. Across the board, a lot of real estate transactions are still just going back and forth via email, which is kind of crazy that we're in 2026 and that's happening.
Right.
And from there, as we spoke to brokers and landlords, they said, great, it's going to make the process smoother, more efficient, but we still need a way to verify that information. I have a renter sending me PDFs of his bank statements and pay stubs. With AI and technology, a 5-year-old can make a fake pay stub that says they have, $5 million in the bank. So it's like we need a way to actually verify that. So we
Hmm.
realized, well, if we could actually verify it up front by verifying the identity and the income, so that will help both the broker who's handling the process as well as the landlord who owns the building, and his worst nightmare is getting in a fraudulent tenant. So we're really servicing the entire transaction.
Hmm.
My main target is brokers and landlords because they're the ones facilitating the process, and then
Okay.
they'll give it to their renters to utilize it through the process.
And how many, like from when you started this, like how many clients do you have now?
Yeah, so we
Have you seen
just
this?
we just hit over 300
Okay,
last week, which has been pretty crazy.
that is.
We still have a long way to go, and we're slowly branching out of New York City. So as
Okay.
of about a month ago, we realized that New York City's its own beast, like just the way it operates, the way it works.
It's like its own little country there. Yeah.
It's
It's
crazy, just the rules and regulations that go on here. So we slowly started targeting Nashville and Atlanta, where we had some other relationships
Mhm.
already. So we're
Yeah.
slowly getting into those markets too. And St. Louis, we actually got into a couple landlords there. So yeah, just trying to expand throughout the country and keep pushing forward.
Well, you haven't hit crazy California yet.
We haven't yet. No,
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna try to get there too. That's also probably just as crazy as New York City.
Boy, but I'm curious with it, how many people have found someone fraudulent?
Yeah, I mean nobody directly. I would say the biggest thing, like we've had a couple of people that have utilized it, and like the second that you're dealing, we have people that are even using it for potential buyers, not just the rental process, where it's like you have a
Hmm.
buyer, he wants to buy a house you're selling for a couple $1 million, and they sent it to the person. They were a little bit iffy about him. Okay, I'm not sure how legit he is. As brokers, you guys can sniff it out from the jump. You've been doing it for so long, so you could tell when
Right.
somebody's a little bit, off.
Right.
So this is kind of like that scare factor where it's like, okay, like I'm not sure about you.
They won't sign up and use it, right?
Exactly. So you send them
Yeah.
VryfID and say, hey, yeah, just run through this process just to make sure that you're legit. If they ghost you, you know that, they
Then
were basically
yeah.
fraudulent. Most people that are scams, the second they see that, they're like, okay, this guy, this person knows, how to put the guardrails in place. I'm not going to try to scam them. I'm going to go find another broker who's has no clue what
Right.
he's doing, and I'm just going to go scam him
Right.
instead.
Right. And I think that's a really good point that you said, the scare factor.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
just,
they know, they're
I mean, it's a
smart.
great way to prospect. I mean, is using it because you just
Exactly.
eliminate, you save so much time.
Yeah, that's the idea. Like when we're speaking of brokers, and I mean, we're working with a couple commercial brokers also, actually in Atlanta, and the idea
Okay.
is they're they're doing industrial deals, retail deals, and they're like, in the end of the day, as a broker, you only make money if you close a deal, and every minute wasted is money that's not getting into your pocket.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're wasting your time on tenants that you don't know 100% if they're legit or not, then
Hmm.
you're wasting your time and you're not getting any money. So the idea is that if you know from the jump who's actually qualified and motivated and legit,
Hmm.
then you'll really get to the money making.
Right. Well, speaking of brokers and the fact that you work with residential and commercial, I'm assuming it's probably more or less investment brokers you're working with. And are you seeing like their companies wanting to just even buy verified as a package as something that all their investment brokers can use, or is it just like one off?
Yeah, so as we're expanding, we're seeing that we're talking to a couple
Hmm.
brokers that have multiple offices that want to utilize us for all of their brokers, and
Right.
obviously it's more cost efficient for them. And as a broker, if you run a brokerage, you might have 5, 10, 20 different brokers, and you like the product, you want all of
Yeah.
your team using it too, because it's going to make the process more efficient and help you close more
Mhm.
deals.
So when you're building a space, like prop tech and the real estate infrastructure and all that, like what's the hardest part, like getting people to understand the problem, like getting the adoption? I mean, as we all know, I mean, you're in sales, I'm in sales. It's not the easiest job to get people on board. Like, how do you stay ahead of the risks and changes and get them on board with the product?
Yeah, I mean it's like anything. Like I mean, right now, like, and I was talking to a mentor of mine this morning, Niall Lundgren from Sirhan, and he was just
Hmm.
pushing me on like, in the end of the day, we're all in sales, and you got
Right.
to become a student of the game. You got to keep learning sales. You're selling something.
Hmm.
You're selling a product. You're selling yourself. You got to know how to do it, and it's a constant battle for me. I've only been doing it for a couple of years. I mean, obviously, I started doing it at a young age, but I still have so much to learn. So I'm constantly trying to be a student of the game and understanding my processes and how I'm selling people,
Hmm.
understanding their specific pain points. You want to
Right.
talk about the problem that they're currently facing. You can't just
Hmm.
throw a solution at somebody without getting into the problem first and then making them realize that they need the solution. So it's just a never ending journey for me to be a better
Hmm.
salesman.
Yeah. So speaking of, being, being a founder, you're stretched, even, personally in so many different ways. A lot of people see entrepreneurship from the outside and they think, oh, this is so glamorous. I mean, you see your videos, you're like ready to, like, I'm about to go work for you or
Yeah.
something. Like, everything looks so
Yeah,
exciting,
yeah, yeah.
right? But they don't always see like the pressure, the uncertainty, the emotional weight, of leading. I mean, what do you really do to offset that?
Yeah, it's tough, and I try to speak about it sometimes, especially on
I
LinkedIn.
know.
when I get in my feelings a little bit and get a little emotional,
Yeah.
and just being honest about it, because obviously I'm posting a lot about, the highs
Hmm.
and the excitement and trying to build in
Hmm.
public, but I also want to show the lows and the struggles and how hard and tough it really gets sometimes. For me, I mean, I'm Jewish, so I observe the Sabbath every Saturday. So from Friday night sundown until Saturday night sundown, 25 hours, no phone, no cars, no TV. And that's just like a weekly reset where it's like everything shuts off. I don't have any
Yeah.
phone, no business, no work, nothing.
Right.
And it's such a refreshing thing, especially as
Hmm.
entrepreneurs, real estate brokers. Like we're 24/7. We're nonstop. A
Right.
client might call you at 10 p.m. Might call you on a Sunday. You're doing showings on a Sunday. It's like you're working all the time. So there has to be some boundary of when you can totally
Yes.
shut off. And for me, it's every Friday night to Saturday night for Shabbat. It's 25 hours, full reset, and that gets me going for the next week ahead.
So no matter how bad things are, you feel like you're coming out refocused, reset, ready to go, higher vibe to.
100%. Like I'm itching already. Like Saturday, it's like 3 p.m. It's like, the Sabbath is ending when sundown. So now it's around 6:30, 7 p.m. And it's like already
Mhm.
2, 3 p.m. is hitting, and I'm like itching to get back to it already. I'm like, okay, like it's been 12
Mhm.
hours, 15 hours. I haven't, done any work, no business. Like I'm juiced up to get going. And then that's why like even Saturday night and Sunday, like I'm full throttle. I'm working. I'm getting stuff done.
Right. So I think that's really interesting. I love the fact that you're saying the word boundaries because I think a lot of people, even including myself, have been boundaryless, and it's a big thing to get back on. And that's you being raised, you being Jewish and observing the Sabbath, just like I'm Catholic, I'm Christian, and I feel like a lot of, not everybody, but I think a lot of people, like I grew up when everything used to be closed on Sunday because I'm 48 years old, right? I remember that like everything was closed on Sunday because you had to observe Sabbath. We are like our culture and even just our culture in general, like putting religion aside, have gotten away from not being forced to stop.
Yeah.
Like you do need to stop. People could say, "Oh, you should meditate this." Not, of course you should, but I think you do need. I love the fact, like, of thinking of going back to getting serious about a 24-hour reset
Yeah.
here,
It's
and
life
especially
changing.
staying away
Yeah.
from the phone.
Yeah, I mean, because now it's like think about what we have on the phones. Is like you have unlimited potential on just a little phone where it's like you could
Right?
just do so much stuff on that thing. It's like your brain is never
It's
stopping. It's like your brain is going in a
no
million places. You're just frying your brain. It's like you gotta learn when to stop for a little bit.
right. So, what are you doing? What do you typically do then in that 24 hours? I mean, obviously you're eating meals, but I mean,
Yeah.
what are you doing other than that?
Yeah, so it's a lot of time with either family or friends, depending where I'm at. So I can't drive or anything. So it's like where I'm at is where I'm at for the whole 25 hours. So
Okay.
sometimes I'll be back home with my family. Sometimes I'll be in the city with a couple
Mhm.
friends. And
Okay.
Friday night is really one of my favorite times of the
Hmm.
week. It's just a big dinner with friends or family. If
Fun.
I'm home, my mom
Mhm.
cooks up a whole feast. If I'm with friends,
Oh,
we
nice.
order a bunch of food. I don't drink alcohol, but friends drink wine, beer, whatever. They have a good time. And then you just chill and there's no phone. So it's like, think about we go to all these dinners and all these events, and it's like you're never actually sitting at a table with a bunch of people with no phones, no technology, and you're just actually having real conversations and real human interaction, which is crazy to think about nowadays because it never happens. So
Well,
that's
especially for your generation, I
exactly,
mean,
yeah,
like go out the window. But
literally,
see, you got to like force, like we don't force, but I mean, we have our kids. We're like Friday night dinner is family, and if you want to have friends over, that's
yeah,
great.
yeah,
Join in the fun. But we're sitting down and eating and talking like normal people
yeah,
without our
for
phones.
real. And it never happens. Nobody does anymore. It's like a lost.
It's almost becoming a lost
Yeah,
art, right?
exactly, yeah,
Really, really sad because what's funny is once they're in it, they don't want to leave and they keep talking and talking because
exactly,
there's so much to learn and talk about. And even if we take them out with a bunch of adults, it's like you learn so much from other people all the time.
yeah, exactly.
Wild. So tell me, what do you, is there, do you not drink because of sports or health, or you just realize it's toxic?
Yeah, a mix of both. I mean, I didn't drink like when I was playing soccer. When I was playing college, when I played overseas, and I stopped drinking because obviously, it's pretty hard to drink when you're trying to be on a full, athletic schedule.
Right.
And then from there, I realized, okay, like I kind of took that same mindset and carried it with me into
Mhm.
business too. And it's like I want to be locked in, I want to be focused. I like being in the present moment. When you drink alcohol or when you do drugs, like any of that stuff, like you're taking yourself out of the moment and you're not yourself. And like I feel good in my own skin and I feel best when I'm fully focused, and I know that drugs and
Mm-hmm.
alcohol just takes you out of that. And it's like, okay, every once in a while I'll have some wine, even though I don't really like how it tastes anyways. But you know, when it's a good occasion, I'll have some. But it's just the same mindset. And from being an athlete into business is you want to keep that same discipline and mindset.
That's what I kind of figured. Because for people who aren't following you, which they should follow Gabe, and congratulations on your 18,000
Thank you.
followers. I
Thank you.
just saw that.
Yeah.
That's awesome on LinkedIn. You know, I obviously know your routine because I see
Yeah.
it on your videos. But why don't you tell everyone what you have a great routine. Why don't you walk everyone through what your morning kicks off
For
with?
sure, yeah. So I wake up at 4:45 now.
Mm-hmm.
First thing I do is I thank God. It's actually a Jewish ritual that you say the
Mm-hmm.
Modeh, which is, thank you God for restoring my soul into my body and giving me
Mm-hmm.
another day. So that's how I start my morning every morning. Obviously,
Love
got to
it.
go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, all the stuff
Right.
that I don't show on camera. And then I hop on the subway down to Midtown where I go to the gym. I work out there 5 times a week and switch off legs, arms, whatever it is, get into the workout flow. After that finishes, shower, and I go to morning prayers. So in Jewish religion, every morning we do a morning prayer at a synagogue with 10 or more men. That's what constitutes a Jewish prayer. So I go to there. It's about 30, 40 minutes in the morning. And then from there, I go to the office and I start working. I try to spend the mornings prepping social media, do stuff that like when nobody's online, I'm not getting any phone calls or any
Mm-hmm.
emails, and it's just me. So
Yeah.
I try to get that deep work in the mornings. And then from there, it's kind of just madness depending on the day in New York City,
Yeah.
meetings, events, content, you
Mm-hmm.
name it. And then whenever the
Yeah.
day ends, sometimes I'm doing content, podcasts, events, and then I get
Mm-hmm.
back home. I've been actually learning how to cook meals. So I've been making myself chicken, steak, fish, whatever that is. And then I'll eat up and I'll try to get to bed by 10 p.m.
I figured that's a good schedule, especially working during the
Yeah,
week. So
exactly.
unless you're going to fit in, really.
Yeah. So,
Because you're a person, I think I love how you're a person of faith, and like I definitely have to give your mom a pat on the back because that's really the biggest part of this whole battle
for
here
sure.
on earth is knowing that there's a higher power in God, and
100%.
to get you from point A to point B, really at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So are you like when you have like, so kind of weaving into that, and then I want to get into praise. How do you make, because you've got a lot of big decisions. You are a high risk entrepreneur. I mean, welcome to entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
It's like risky every day. You're making big decisions. You could lose a ton of money. You want to preserve your reputation. Like, I'm assuming obviously you're leaning in on data, but at the end of the day, are your decisions based on your intuition? Are they based on you, you know, conversations, a combo? Like what are you doing to get through the hard times?
Yeah. Well, thankfully, I'm working with my brother and I trust him a lot. He's actually
Mhm.
younger than me, which
Okay.
is funny because we go to a lot of events now. I bring him, he's still in school. He's in NYU in college. He's a junior, but he starts coming to events with me now. And a lot of people think
Mhm.
he's older than me. And
Oh.
he's definitely more mature than me. So I actually
Mhm.
look up to him when it comes to big decisions and he usually knows what to do. If not, thankfully, our dad helps us out too. He just has that
That's good.
entrepreneurial mindset. So really,
Yeah.
any tough decisions, like if we need, we'll hop on a call with him or we'll meet with my dad, and he'll mentor us
Mhm.
through. And then aside from that, thankfully, been building a lot of really good relationships with people in the real estate entrepreneurial
Mhm.
space that I could look up to and reach out to if I have any really big questions or advice. And that's been one of the biggest game changers for me is just building up those relationships with people that have been through it
Mhm.
before that I can trust.
Now, which social media, because you're very active on, which one's your favorite, or do you use certain ones for, because some people aren't really familiar with social media
Yeah,
like how we are. So what do you find
yeah.
with each platform?
They're interesting. I mean, I've been a student of the game of social media for the last 14 months, which has been really interesting to look at that because, like, growing up in high school, it's all like, fun.
Like 18 months. I'm new too.
Yeah, it's
Like,
like fun and games, really. It's like I didn't look at it from a business perspective, and I listen to Gary Vee a lot, and he always talks about that, like, social media is so untapped. It's like there's never been a time
it's
in history where you have literally option for free marketing. Like it's crazy
right.
to think about. And like for me, I didn't grow up with billboard ads and newspaper ads, stuff like that. But the way that Gary Vee talks about it, he's like, there's never been a time in history where you could literally post a video for free and get tens of thousands of views without paying a single dollar for it, which is incredible. So
It is.
I started on LinkedIn 15 months ago, started posting for the first time. So that's been
Okay.
the platform that I've been on the longest. And I think I
Okay.
understand the best. And I think it's the
Hmm.
best for business.
I agree.
The last 4 or 5 months, I've started now turning it up on Instagram too, which I see is just really good for the video content. And I've gotten some
Hmm.
really good leads from there. I've actually generated a couple leads from TikTok, which is cool too. I would not
Okay.
expect that, but LinkedIn for sure is my heavy hitter. If you're doing any type of sales, B2B, B2C, like, well, B2B, B2C is better on Instagram or TikTok, but
Right.
B2B or like sales is LinkedIn. If you're
Hmm.
doing B2C, like maybe you're a real estate agent, you're listing a house, or you're selling
Right.
a consumer product, then maybe Instagram or TikTok.
Are you doing your own videos, or do you have a social media person that helps you out with all that editing? Because you do some really good stuff.
Yeah. So I actually built out a media team. Maybe like 4 months ago, I realized, okay, I gotta build out a team. So I have a team of a couple editors. And it's funny because now people keep reaching out to me that they like my videos. And like
Hmm.
I understand a little bit how to edit, but obviously it's not what I'm best at. And in the end of the day, you want to spend your time with doing what you're best
Doing.
at. And for me, I'm
Yeah.
average at editing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I onboarded a team of guys, and people have reached out to me, and now I'm kind of doing media for them too, which is cool. Because they ask, how do you do your
Good.
videos? I'm like, I actually have a media team. Like we can do it for you too. So they really handle that stuff. They're really good. They're actually overseas, which is convenient and also price efficient, price
For sure.
effective. They're very inexpensive, so
For
they
sure.
handle all that for me.
Well, that's awesome. How much are you posting a week? Because I feel like I see you all the
A
time, but I
lot,
mean, what are you doing for LinkedIn, Instagram?
a lot, yeah. 1 to 2 posts every day on every platform. So if you add it up, probably like 2, 3, maybe like 10 to 15 per day, which is crazy.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pumping out like across platforms somewhere between like 50 to 100 a week.
Wow, that's a. But how much time are you really spending doing the footage that you're sending to the editors and everything?
Yeah, so I try to do most of my content on Sundays when like there's not really much
Okay.
else to do except for like
Yeah.
deep work and catching up on stuff. So I'll try to
Yeah.
shoot content on like a Sunday. I'll go out for 2, 3 hours and I'll shoot
Okay.
everything, and that'll last me like 2 to 3 weeks. And then all that goes to my editor. He handles all the editing, posting, all that stuff. I post on my personal platforms, but he posts on all my company platforms.
Yeah. Yeah. I do my own personal too.
Yeah, I like to keep like my personal. It's like, okay, it's still mine. I like to handle that. I like to post it. I like to engage with the
Yeah.
comments and the DMs. But the
Right.
company platforms, you want to have somebody
Yeah.
else running that.
Very cool. Very awesome. Because a lot of people always ask, like, how are you doing X? How are you? And everyone's, I don't want to say everyone's different, but I'd say everyone's actually kind of similar with what they're
Yeah,
doing. Maybe a little different here or there. But getting into praise, I mean, this is something that when I saw you, I was like attracted to what you were wearing. I'm like, this kid, I'm like, where's he getting this t-shirt that says, because what I like is the fact that even though it's like I think everyone universally knows the word God.
for
I would
sure.
hope so,
Yeah, I would
right?
hope so too. Yeah,
Understand what it means.
yeah,
And I really thought like your stuff was like super cool. I thought that it was probably like someone famous designing it. I'm
yeah,
like, I wonder what this whose stuff is he wearing?
yeah,
To find out it's yours.
yeah,
When I met you at the CREI summit, it's for all, just so anyone doesn't know, it's for commercial real estate. Anyone in social media. Ken Ashley out of Atlanta, Georgia, started it during COVID, and he has an annual summit where we learn just anyone who's an influencer or wants to be in commercial real estate world goes to this summit.
yeah, yeah. It was awesome.
and and it was great, and just an amazing group of people from all over the country are there, and we learn a lot. Yeah, I think even if you're not in commercial real estate, you would learn so much going
For
there.
sure.
Seriously, about social media and YouTube,
100%.
everything.
Yeah. Anyone in real
But
estate or sales content, like that, you should be there.
yeah, it's literally. So being so faith driven and you're very conversation based, like what? How did you decide to just start this clothing brand? Right? I mean, that's so different than you were a commercial real estate broker,
Yeah.
then you verified as still in real estate world, you're not out of it, you're in it still. How did you decide to do this offshoot?
Yeah. It was honestly like, it really came in a dream. Like I never really planned on doing this. I've always had my own way of expressing my faith. Obviously, I grew up in a Jewish community, but I was always connected with people outside. Growing up,
Yeah.
I played soccer, and that really
Yeah.
branched me out of my inner community of Jewish people. And
Right.
I played soccer with
Hmm.
Christians, Muslims, Catholics, everybody, and I really started to understand like other people too, and I became really close with other people too, and I wanted to find a universal way to express faith and do it through
Hmm.
conversations, through being proud of it. And when I started in real estate, a couple people that when I started, they said, two things never talk about: politics and religion and faith. And I said, okay, politics, I get it. Like, it usually ends up going down a rabbit hole and it's just not worth it.
Yeah. You're not going to win. Yeah.
Exactly. But faith, I was like, it could be something that really unites people together. Like, you don't have to talk about specific religions or like argue with people if they don't believe in the same religion as you. But like, in the end of the day, like, the belief of God, a belief of something greater than you is so important. And I think that people that live a life with a belief in something greater than them live a better life and a more morally guided life. So it's like, that's something that I
Hmm.
could connect to people about. It should be something we could express. And I really thought about that when I first started in real estate. And then the idea for just making a clothing brand around it kind of just
Hmm.
came to me. I always liked fashion, and I was like, let me just play around with it. I don't have any designing skills or anything, but
Right.
there's so many tools online now. So I just went out and just started designing things, found the best Bible verses, and tried to make some cool designs.
Right.
And then it started working, and from there, started selling them. And then I actually went to the Super Bowl last year in New Orleans, and I gave out shirts to a bunch of athletes, and they all loved it. From
Right.
there, they said, it's great. You got to start making content around it. And it was before I ever started doing any videos. I had just started posting on LinkedIn, just like written posts. And
Oh, okay.
I like writing, and I'm pretty solid at it. So I was doing that, but I was like, videos, like, no chance I want to do that. That's too crazy. It's not what I want to
That's
do.
hard.
I
Yeah.
was really nervous about it, but then I got back to New
Yeah.
York City, and I called up a friend. I'm like, I need you to come film me in Times Square. And I went around and just started asking people about faith, God, prayer, in the middle of New York City, and it started taking off. So from there, I started doing videos, and then those videos transitioned into me now doing videos for my personal brand, for VryfID, for everything that I do. And thankfully, just the reps of doing videos and getting on camera, it's like anything else. You just get better at it over time.
That's true. You just gotta like start. But I was like you. I'm like half introvert, half extrovert.
Yeah.
I'm like a video. Social media manager asked me to do one. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
God.
scary.
It is scary. I do love how open minded you are. I mean, because, and I realize you obviously met, people from all around the world, especially playing soccer because it's an international sport. And that's something I do think is so wonderful. Like what you're doing is it goes across all faiths. I mean,
100%.
everyone believes in God,
Yeah. I've
right?
had
And I think that
conversations with,
instead of
yeah,
fighting with people about religions and who's who, this and that, I've always loved world culture, religion, highly respected. I mean, as long as you're not worshiping Satan, I mean, I'm totally cool with whatever,
100%. Yeah.
whatever you are religion wise.
100%.
Is and I think it's just a cool movement for someone of your age to be out there making it cool to talk about faith and God and having a higher spirit, talk, relationship with, because you need it to get through life. And I'm big on praying. So,
100%.
I don't, I always say I'm living on a prayer on a daily
Yeah.
basis.
I love it.
And I want to talk to about the athletes and the entrepreneurs and all these creators that, I love your videos. And when you're talking with people, and I really enjoyed your videos when you're going up to like random people, asking them, questions like, would you want to, I think was it $1 million or $10 million you asked them, or would you want to have dinner with God,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you find to be the common thread in those conversations? They were fun videos to watch.
Yeah, most people said dinner with God without hesitation, which was really cool to see because like most of them were not planned at all. I was walking up to
Yeah, they were really random
some of
people.
the
Like,
best athletes, yeah, like real NFL players that I asked this question, and some of them didn't even flinch. They're like dinner with God, which is cool. But then their response to like, what would you say to him? And a lot of people just said, just thank you. Like I'm grateful for what I have. Like if I saw God, I sat down with him. Like I would just thank him for all that I have, all the blessings. And these are coming from athletes playing at the highest
mhm.
level, making millions of dollars. And the first thing that they would say to God is thank you. Is like that's something humbling, and that was probably the coolest thing that I experienced so far.
Awesome. Um, what I mean, I know you're only 24, but I mean, the thing is your vision of success is, I'm sure, way different than high school or even early
For
college,
sure.
right? So, like, what do you define? What does success mean to you now that you are a grown adult who owns their own, but two businesses
For
right
sure.
now.
Yeah, I mean, it's with social media and everything, it's hard to get out of like the comparison mindset and thinking about all the physical things that you want to accomplish with the cars and the money and the houses, and obviously like in the end of the day, like you want to make money, a necessity in this world to live a life, to feed a family, to provide for your family. And I mean, I don't have a family yet, I don't have a wife or kids, but my goal, my vision is to be able to provide for them so that they never have to worry about any of that. So that's obviously part of it. But slowly and thankfully with praise, that's really kept me grounded on the fact that like my goal is to make an impact on the world, and see ways that I can actually inspire others through building my companies in public and inspiring other young entrepreneurs to just go chase their dreams, and that really anything's possible. Nowadays we have so many tools and technology and opportunities that the only thing that's holding you back at this point is just your own mindset. And even if I could inspire anybody to really go for it and chase their dream, that's really what I define success as, is making a positive impact on the world.
I love that. And I think for anyone who's listening and they feel called to build something meaningful, tell me just don't be afraid to start.
100%. That's it.
You just got to start
Yeah.
somewhere.
It's never going to be perfect.
People start careers, they fail, they go back. I mean, I think Henry Ford went bankrupt 7 times. Like, I don't think his family is like chastising him for that now.
Nope. Exactly.
Or anybody. And I think people worry too much what other people think. What other things would you want to throw into someone's toolkit who wants to be an entrepreneur, who wants to make a difference in this world with their businesses? What would you say to somebody young that wants to go out and just do something?
Yeah, I mean, I would
What are
say,
the tips that you would give?
yeah, especially at a young age, is like, we tend to think like we're behind, and social media makes us feel
Right.
like that because you see 16
Yeah.
or 17-year-old kids making millions of dollars, and like I feel like at 24 that I'm behind. And then I talk to people that are 40, 50, 60 that are like, you're so early, you're still so young. You could literally work for the next 10 years and fail at every single thing you do and be 30 years old, 35 years old, and still be young and opportunity. So it's like we have a whole life to live. The goal of life is not to just like build a business and then just do nothing for the rest of your life. So it's like, it's part of the journey. So you want to enjoy the journey. So might as well do something that you actually enjoy and find meaningful, and try to make it work. And worst comes to worst, it doesn't work, and that's it. And you try something else. But
Right.
especially when you're young, you have so much time, so much opportunity. Now's the best time to go and fail and then learn from it. So that's the best advice I could give.
I love that. I love that. When you look ahead, like what are you like most excited about? Like not just like in business, but just in your life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to just keep meeting people, making connections. I think that's been one of the coolest things that I've done, and just keep getting into new doors with new people that are doing cool things that I can work with in ways to utilize platforms and inspire others and make an impact. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm excited to build something with my brother. I mean, it's the coolest thing that I've
Yeah.
gotten to do. It's cool and it's weird at the same time, because it's like, on one end, it's like I don't trust anybody else more in the world. But on the other
Right.
end, it's like you're working with your brother. So it's like you guys kind of go at it at the same time. And it's like
Yeah.
being able to have a shared vision with my brother and be able to actually make it work, and really grow into like the entire real estate industry and hit our goals that we have. That's
Right.
what I'm looking forward to.
I love that. And how do you keep, because some people don't want to work with family.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you maintain business life, family life?
Yeah, it's hard. I
I
mean,
mean, how do you,
it's very hard.
especially when you disagree on stuff? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's one of those things that it's like, especially like if you're at home or you're doing other things, and it's like, okay, like
Hmm.
if you disagreed on something, or you fought about something on the business side of things, it's like it
Hmm.
shouldn't affect anything. And we know, and we have, we've sat down and we've talked about it, and we have a shared understanding that it's like whatever happens in the business world, that's in another room, and that doesn't affect, our relationship. They're two separate rooms. The door's closed. There's no way of them intertwining. And obviously sometimes it still does, and like we're able to get out of it. But I mean, it's the
Right.
reality, and you have to be willing to
Hmm.
accept it, but also have the shared mindset. And I think the fact that if you have the shared
Right.
mindset and the shared goals, then it's easier to make it work.
Yeah, I like those tips. Keep it in a separate room. We're gonna go out Friday
Yeah,
night.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We're gonna find.
Yeah.
But no, I like having the shared mindset because that's not just in business, but I mean that's also in marriages too, and personal relationships that you have with friends. Like, if you have a shared mindset, like there's going to be a lot of
Of
infighting
course.
going,
Yeah.
going on
Of
there.
course. Yeah.
Um, that's awesome. Do you feel like in your 20 something world, do you feel like there's really a lot of entrepreneurs anymore?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's more entrepreneurs than ever.
You? Okay.
Nowadays, with technology, with social media, with all the AI, the tools, it's easier than ever to go out and start a business, start a company. So I think there's tons of entrepreneurs. I think people are realizing that there's more opportunity than to just go work a job the rest of your life and work for somebody else. You might as well go chase your dreams. So I think there's a ton of entrepreneurs out there. I think it's a really exciting time for the world.
Because I noticed that, and I mean, just collectively, I mean, it's hard to find people to come work and go to work. I mean, no matter whether it's business or medical, whatever the field is, it's hard to
Yeah.
find workers, right? And I'm thinking to myself, what are they all doing? I mean,
Yeah.
are they looking at social media and YouTube and seeing like, oh wait, I can do X? But not everyone. I mean, not everyone's really built to be an entrepreneur, but I always wondered if there's really more than you really think because of how easy it is now to
Yeah.
go do it and market yourself for free. Like we were just talking about in social media, you could get business to business up and running really
For
fast,
sure.
within a year,
Yeah, I mean,
which is
there's
why.
people that are their full-time job is to make social media content. Like
Right.
they've built a personal brand, and I think that whole entrepreneurial thing now is built on the personal brand. And again, Gary Vee always talks about it, is like your personal brand now is the most important thing. You can literally build a personal brand doing videos on social media and build a following that then will make you money from people paying you to do sponsorships and to do courses and whatever. You could sell anything now, and it's like the power of social
Right.
media can allow you to do that.
What do you think is the most, because you're very into branding and branding is literally everything in business. What do you think are the most important things to know about branding for anyone out there who's thinking, I want to build something and I got to build a brand?
Yeah, I mean, I think your reputation is everything. The way that you carry yourself and conduct yourself is crucial. But I would say the
Hmm.
biggest thing is just being yourself and being honest, because in the end of the day, like,
I like
you're going to build
that.
your
Hmm.
personal brand around you, and you are who you are. You can only fake it for so long. So I think that really doubling down on what makes you you, and that makes you unique,
Hmm.
right? You can't try to
Right.
build a personal brand around you trying to be someone else, because you're you. And I try to tell people ask me about advice for social media and stuff like that, and I said the best thing you do is tell stories about yourself, because those stories are unique to you. The deals that you've done, the stories that you
Hmm.
experienced are unique to you. Nobody else can take that because nobody else has experienced them. So it's like build it around you, who you are, what makes you you,
Hmm.
and then people that have similar traits and have similar experiences to you will then cling on to it and want to follow it and support it.
Right. I love that. That's great advice. Because I think there are a lot of posers out there too, where you're like your ex on social media and your Y in like real life. But I think you do see the people that do explode. They're extremely authentic and they have fantastic people love people's
Of course, yeah,
stories.
100%.
They're all inspirational. Everyone on this planet's inspirational, whether they know it or not.
Sure, yeah, you got to find
I
it.
always say there's not one person that can't make you cry, that doesn't have a story to make you cry or laugh, right?
Exactly.
Um, what's a final piece of advice you'd give the audience about being whole in mind, body, and spirit so they can live a fulfilled life with what they're
Yeah,
building?
that's a deep question, a really good question. I would say find your why. We see it a lot on social media, and a lot of people talk about it, especially successful people that have gotten through long careers. Is what's your why?
Mhm.
Money,
Okay.
fame, those things are fading, and they only last for so long. Just like
Right.
motivation is fading, right? One day you wake up and, oh, I'm
Right.
motivated. I'm gonna bake my head. I'm drinking an energy drink. I'm excited. I'm pumped. And the next day you're empty. So it's like you have to have a
Right.
why, because the why will keep you disciplined and keep you going through a sustained life. It's like we're in this life for the long run. We're not in it for the the short term success or the short term
Right.
thrills. It's you want to build a legacy, you
Hmm.
want to build a journey. So find your why, and it's an everlasting journey. I have my why, but it's like I know that it's every day is part of the journey. Um, So that's really find what drives you, and that'll help you take you to the next level, and hopefully have a long life and a long career of success, and build a legacy for the people you care about.
Yeah, I think that's really beautiful. And I love, you're one of the second people I've talked to that have said, you don't, motivation's not every day. Because we're humans. I
Yep.
mean, one day we could wake up and I don't know, maybe it's where the stars are aligned, but you just feel like 2 cents,
Yep.
right? Not $1 million. And, so backing up that motivation, I mean, what what is really, what is your why right now? Because your why is always going to
For sure.
change. So what is,
Yeah, I actually got really good advice from Kyle Matthews. I'm not sure if you know him. Matthews Real Estate, obviously one of
well,
the,
I've never met him, but I follow him. He's got great
yeah, he's
advice.
built one of the biggest real estate empires. And I met him in Nashville at an event, and I asked him, for his best piece of advice. And he said, he told me, you got to find your why. And he's like, sometimes it's not always pretty, right? You have multiple parts of that why. Um, some of it's positive, and for me, it's the positive part is obviously my family motivates me. I want to be able to provide for my future family, and I see what my parents have built
Mhm,
for me growing up and the life that I had, and
mhm,
that's my why, is to then
mhm.
create that for my future family. But there's also like the negative why, and Kyle Matthews told me his negative why was that his two older brothers made it to the NFL, professional football players, and he was the only
Right,
brother in his family that didn't make it. And he said
right,
that part of his why of how he was able to build an empire was that, like, that ruthless, you know, drive and desire to prove them wrong and be like, I'm gonna be, even though I didn't make it to the NFL, I'm gonna build a career better than you guys. You guys might be on TV and famous and football players and
right,
making millions of dollars, but I'm gonna figure out a way to make something even better, right? And that obviously has its, positive parts of the why, but also the negative parts of the why. As long as it's not something like very negative, but you always have the desire to prove people wrong, and finding those haters, people that doubt you, and using them as fuel,
mhm,
could be a positive part of your why on
yeah,
top of the negative part of the why on top of the positive. So that's really it.
right. I love that. I love that. And I like the fact that you really understand, I mean, good, evil, black and white. Your why is, you have a positive why, you can have a negative whys that
For
are
sure.
fueling your growth to, to be the best version of what you could be,
For
on
sure.
this
Yeah.
earth, right? It's fascinating. I love it. But I want to thank you for joining me today. And, you've got just sheer honesty and conviction and clarity to everything you brought to the conversation. What really stood out to me is that obviously you're a young, just happy, fun person, but you're also like building from, innovation, and you're building from
For
true
sure.
intention too. With verified ID and praise, your clothing brand, and you're solving, real growing problems in real estate by creating, verified. And you're also creating space for really meaningful conversations and inspiration on faith, discipline, and purpose, which is for everybody, right? There's not just a single genre out there for it. So, I think a lot of people are craving that right now. And I love that you're, spreading the word on all that. And I know people love to watch your stories and see more of them. So where can everyone
Yeah,
find
Gabe
you?
Einhorn on basically every platform. Gabe Einhorn, Einhorn. Should pop up. If I don't, then I'm not doing a good enough job.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Okay. Well, as always, thank you for listening to another episode of the Tori Nook Talk Show. You can always catch new episodes every Tuesday across all podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, and my YouTube channel at Tori Nook. If you enjoyed this conversation, please hit subscribe, leave a great review, and I'll see you next Tuesday.